Today's topic is about love and dating, and we all know that wellness is going to go hand in hand with finding love and also having successful dates. If you can establish a good, healthy wellness standpoint, you're going to find a good and open, successful love in dating and relationships with many people. And this isn't just strictly love with another human being one-on-one. This is developing relationships with many different people. But primarily, of course, we're going to really hone in on the love and dating aspect. And this, I'm very, very confident this goes very well with wellness, because if you can establish wellness, you can definitely establish a healthy relationships. So we're going to start very basic, and we're going to ask the question of, what is love? Love, to be in a short, now we all know that word goes forever, but we're going to give you a short answer. Love is a strong affection for another person. That's as basic and very minimal as you can possibly be, but it's very to the point, and that's what we want. Because in relationships, we all want to go to the point, but that's not how it works. It's going to take lots of devotion and patience, and we all know love is surrounded in many different forms. And in this sense here, it's basically just having an affection for another person. That can be family members, friends, spouse. It's going to stretch across a wide spectrum. So wanted to just really give you the basic question. The first question is, what is love? And I think everyone is aware of what love is, but we are unaware of how to find it sometimes, and how to locate it, and how to know if it's true. And I'm going to go through all of those things here as well in this video course. So there's two types of love, and I narrowed it down. There's going to be different types of love, where it's romantic love and mature love. Obviously, we're talking now more about the dating aspect, finding someone. It's particularly two types of love. Is romantic love is the exhilarating feeling, head over heels in love. Now, I'm going to peel layers off what that word means. Although it's only 4 letters, it's very complicated. And so we all know that it's very hard to decipher what we feel when we feel something. We always just say love is a one-dimensional feeling, but it's not. It's many different dimensions, and it comes in many different times, and it's not a relative that passes welcome. Sometimes it can be short visiting, and it can be very unexpected. So we're going to really peel the layers of what love is, and really get down to the core of what love is. But here's a few different types of love. There's 2 different types, and then you have mature love, is what we all are seeking for most of the time. I won't say we all are seeking this, but this is what primarily is what a lot of people need and want. It's long-lasting, caring, and giving the type of love, basically a marriage. And so that's the kind of mature love that we're talking about. And these are often the ones that are hard to find, because it takes so much time and commitment, and life constantly throwing different hurdles at you, and different speed bumps that are in the way. It makes it very difficult to accomplish the mature love aspect. And this is what causes a lot of different tension in trying to establish this type of love. And this is where I want to offer my assistance, because if you can get mature love, it's going to satisfy both romantic and the mature love aspect. So why not take the entire package instead of just peeling little pieces of it? So we're going to get into that as well. Now, here is the infatuation versus love. Basically, infatuation is based on an instant desire. Now, we all know that most things that are good do not come instant. There are those very slow and very minimal instances where things come very quickly, and then you can kind of trust it. But most of the time, let's all agree, I would say, if I had to give it a percentage, I would say more than 90%. And that's a high percentage, that things are going to take a little bit of time. It's not going to be instant. The word instant is on the spot, and it's very rare that things happen on the spot. And then you have the physical infatuation, which we all know is not going to last forever. I'd like to get that into our people out there that are dealing with this, is that you have to look from many different areas other than that physical area, because that is going to definitely put you into a trap. And that's something that happens a lot in our society, that we have this infatuation and we think it's love, when really it's just infatuation. The word itself, it's something instant, something very materialistic, something not totally what it all seems to be. So we have that we have that instant desire, we have that physical, and then what causes you to be the infatuation to take place is lack of confidence and trust. So you're more vulnerable to these things, and so we want to get rid of the infatuation aspect and start developing love, because love is everlasting, as we want it to be, And so infatuation is not, and it's something that's very, very opposite of lasting. So love, in a sense, is accepting one another of their flaws, because we all have them. When you can do that, you can establish love, and you can conquer any hindrance you have with finding it, if you can just do, let's be honest, that accepting one another's flaws. And then you're sharing, of course, interests and ideas. This is what brings you closer together, keeps the bond strong. It adds some structure to the finding that love and keeps it intact. So if you can share interests and ideas, that's going to be even better. And then let's slap on the biggest part of finding love and keeping it, is the trust factor and the feeling secure factor. It's like having a job, a job that you can trust and you feel secure. You're going to do better. It's going to work better. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel confident. If you're in a relationship where the trust is not there and the security is not there, you're not going to stick around for the long run. And that's what we want to establish when we talk about infatuation versus love, is we want to get rid of what is temporary and pull in what is permanent, or what we want to be long term. And so you got to shed the layers and find what is going to be permanent in your life. And you'll find that you'll feel much better when you do so. And so here is the question that I've gotten from many people. As you all know, I do lots of video courses, and this is one of the questions that I've gotten from people throughout the years. And it's like, why should I even date? Why do we date? And I said, let me put something together. And basically, it's in our society, dating leads to engagement, marriage, and children. Engagement comes with many things. So dating is like your way of experimenting. It's your way of knowing what you want your future to be like. So you create this picture of what you think and want yourself to be and part of, and what you want your future to look like. So you date, and it's exhilarating to know that this date can lead to everything you ever wanted and everything you ever desire. However, we are tempted and a little we want to believe that during these dates and during this outcome, we get what we desire and what we feel we want. And it doesn't often end up that way. That's when things start hitting the fan, because then we start factoring in the other things we talked about, the infatuation. We start wondering, is this just an infatuation? Is this real? And then going back to the previous slide, I want to just show you this right here. In the midst of finding why we date, we run into these questions right here. So basically, let me get my little pencil. In the middle of finding our date, in the process of dating, we start running into this, and these start coming out. Now, if we're mature enough, we know that this has already been there. This isn't new. This isn't just life throwing lemons at us. This is already a part of what we're dealing with. We all should know, underline and circle, that this is going to happen. You're going to run into flaws in people. When we date, we don't anticipate that, and we continue on thinking, okay, those flaws are going to just vanish. And they don't. And so we base our dating off of not finding these flaws here. And then we also expect that we do a lot of this. We want to share interest and ideas. We want these to be exploited. These two things. So what happens during the dating process is that, okay, nope, we have a flaw now. Oh, this isn't all there. Sorry, my check marks are not the business. And we realize these things are not working out. So we can go ahead and put little X's because that is not what we expected. Then we also go to the second one. We're like, well, there's some interest, some ideas, but it's not as much as I thought. Strike two. And then the person you're dating or talking to seems to have too many girlfriends, or seems to not text you back, or too many boyfriends around. So then you start losing this factor right here. And then once the trust and everything is broken, you no longer feel secure. So 3 X's, we're out. And this is why dating falls apart, because these things are strike 3 and you're out. And we have to know during the process of dating, we're going to find some of this stuff in the process. If you don't find any of these things, more than likely you're feeling this. And if you're feeling this, you're not getting this. So that's a problem, because we're ultimately looking for love, right? That's what we came here for. We're looking for love. So you have to expect, the reason why I'm scribbling on all of this stuff is I have to let you know you're going to run into these things. Please be aware of that. It's your level of acceptance is what's going to keep this going. You're going to run into some of this stuff. Now, each person is going to vary. Is the person you date going to have a lot of girlfriends? Probably, always? No. Are they going to be working late at night and don't respond? No. But maybe in some fashion they like watching football all day Sunday, and that to you may be your flaw. Let's be real, okay? You're going to run into some of these things. Or you may enjoy football and you want to watch it with them. See, this is why dating is very intricate, because you're going to run into different things. Some two people like the same things. That's great. You're building the interest. But from person to person, as you date, you're going to find what is a flaw for one person isn't a flaw for the other person. So what I want to tell you is that as you go in through life and you're dating, you have to accept that you're going to come across either this one, and a little bit of that one, okay? Because if you don't, like I said, if you don't feel that, then most likely you feel this, and we don't want that. So please be aware, be open that that's probably going to happen. I needed to let all of you know of that, so you don't feel the infatuation, just infatuation, okay? We want to find love, and that's our goal. So to answer your question again, in our society, we date to figure out where we're going. We want to see what a glimpse of our future. We want to see where it takes us. It's a learning process, learning all the things that I told you about. It provides us with the experiences to help us better understand ourselves. If you're not understanding yourself better when you're with someone, then they're probably not bringing different things out of you, and then therefore you're going to lose interest because you're not getting stimulated enough to know, okay, this person's not making me understand myself. The purpose of dating and finding people is to better understand who you are, and not only just understand who you are, but to elevate who you are into a better version of yourself, because let's all understand something. You can always be better, no matter what. There are too many variables in life to say that I can't be better at something and something else. So it can be different things. I can be better at taking time for myself, be better at letting go of problems, better at practicing wellness, better at cooking, better at cleaning, better at spending time with one another. Like, there's always something to do better at something else. So Just please be mindful of that. And here are some of the functions of dating. Understanding of others, understanding yourself, like we talked about, providing companionship, improving communication skills. Now, in your quest of finding during your dates, the person you're with should be taking care of, if not all 4 of these, but most of these. And let me grab my little pencil. I love my little pencil or pen, whatever you want to call it. So they should be. This should be happening. Let's give it a rating, okay? So, or a grade, I guess you can say. Understanding one another, that's where it starts. So let's just say step 1, okay? Let's just put a little 1. And then as you date and you get to know each other, of course, 1, you feel good, so you're providing that. Let's say 2. And as you are talking to each other, you're improving. Number 3, because you're starting to improve your communication skills with one another. And then once you start doing that, you start saying, you know what, I like being around this person. I'm starting to understand who I am. This isn't how your order is always going to be, but this is a good way. This is a good start, a good landing point here, is that you're understanding each other is the first step. Because when you're first dating, you don't know each other. So obviously that's where it should start. 2, you're feeling good about the companionship. You can say that 1 and 2 kind of go together. But I want to say, for purpose of actually enjoying the companionship, is when you understand that person to the point where you are interested now, and now the companionship is a necessity now. So that's 2. And then 3 is, as you understand each other, your communication skills are improving because you're understanding what they don't like, what you don't like, and then if you clash on something, you're taking time enough to talk about it and work it through. So that's 3. And then 4 is, now that you've understood, you're never going to fully understand each other, let's just be honest, but you're going to get better at it. And so as you do all those things, 1, 2, and 3, you're going to also learn about yourself. Okay, so let's remember that. And so that's very important to remember. And so let's go to the next slide here. I want to show you what this is going to be about. And so the functions of it is learning to negotiate. I'm going to talk about all of this here. Learning to be responsible, evaluating personality traits. You're going to have to deal with all of these things here. Some people are more flexible at these things. Some people are not going to budge on many things. But you have to find a happy medium. And it's all about balance. Life is all about balance. If a person told me, describe the best word for life and anything that comes with life, my word would be balance. It would be balance. Someone will say, well, why not love? Well, that's true, but balance, it helps love. And so if you can find a balance, you can love. If you can love, you can find a balance. So I would say overall, you have to have balance, because balance applies to more than just love. It applies to everything. So learning to negotiate, learning to be responsible, because in the middle of that dating, things are going to go wrong. Things are not going to go perfect all the time. It won't be a perfect day. Sometimes it'll rain. Sometimes it'll storm. Sometimes you'll feel ill, or sometimes you'll feel sleepy. So you have to learn to be responsible and be an adult and deal with life accordingly. Because what we find in dating is that we think we're at a tourist attraction where it's like, oh, it has to go well all the time. And we have this false reality that when we're on dates, everything has to be perfect. It's not true. Or showing a house to someone. You're a realtor and you're showing off a house. It's not really realistic to think that every time you date, it's going to go well. It's going to go perfect. It's not a one-shot stop, okay? It has to go either or. So you have to be open and ready for that. Evaluating personality traits, because that's going to be the telltale of everything. If you can relate to one another, that's very important. And then so dating, there are many different types of dating. And I'm going to go through the pros and cons of each different type of dating. Like I stated before, of course, we're more focused on intimate dating, more long-term relationship dating, but there's many different types of dating. You have formal dating, when one person invites another to an event or an occasion, and that's one-on-one dating time. That's formal dating. Of course, if you're interested in one person, that's where you want to be. You want to stay in formal dating for quite some time. My advice is, if you're talking to someone, please, and I say this very, very adamantly, please do not come out of the formal dating stage just yet. Do not start making it informal just yet, okay? If you're really, truly interested in an individual, stay in formal dating, okay? Do not come out of that yet, because it's risky. You don't go from one date to, okay, let's go meet my friends now and watch the football game. You want to stay in formal dating until you fully feel comfortable in this individual, and then you come out and do the informal dating, okay? Very important, because informal dating is two or more people, and you meet and greet and spend time with each other at different places, parks, movies, whatever. But you don't want to go there just yet if you're thoroughly interested in that person. If you're just, a friend, you enjoy time with one another, fine, but just please take my advice on that formal dating thing there. Okay, so group dating, several men and women, boys and girls, spending time together and developing friendships together as a group. This is cool. I can give you my pros and cons. I don't have them listed here because I wanted to talk about it here, and I'm going to try to speed up a little bit. We're going to stop around a 30-minute mark, so I want to try to speed up just a little bit here, so bear with me. The group dating is going to give you, here's the pros for that. Group dating is nice because you get an aspect of many different people at a kind of a faster speed. Let's say you're single and you're looking to meet someone, and you know what your type is, and you don't want to invest a ton of time going on one-on-one formal dates. This is a good way to meet different people and get a good engagement of different people quickly, and to decide, okay, is it worth it or not. The con is nobody's going to act truly the way they would if it was formal dating. So you're not going to get your true person until you're one-on-one with them, and that's the biggest con, is that you're going to get the very informal aspect, but when you put a person into a room one-on-one, they're not going to be the same person. Let's just be honest with that. So that's my pros and cons. And then here we go. We got pair dating. A couple will develop a relationship with each other. That's just kind of giving pros and cons of that. It's the same. Pair dating basically is like double dates. It's the same. You're not going to get the same aspect if it was one-on-one. They're going to be more relaxed because there's more people. I find that if it's more people, you're more relaxed. And so that's going to be a little bit different than if you're one-on-one, more in an intimate setting. So regardless, you're going to have to do the formal dating. That's just the best way that I can tell you. And, if you're looking for long-term. Steady dating is the commitment to date only one person. I'm just giving you an example. This is what we want. If you're looking for long-lasting true love, steady dating is what you're looking for. So that's just giving you a term of pro on that one. Steady dating is basically there's really no need for cons on this one, but I have pros and cons on this one, but I will tell you both. Steady dating, basically you learn one person, you understand one person, and you know who they are, how they function, how they work. The cons in that is that if you're committed into that steady date, the cons in all of that would be, I would tell you that if you're not sure, you've invested so much time in this person already that it's going to be hard to get out of this and just jump into something else. And I'm going to give you an example. If you're still unsure of who you want to date, that's just what this is targeting. This isn't like marriage. Oh, what's the con of marriage, dating one person? That's not what this is saying. This is saying if you're still that person looking. I wanted to be clear about that. If you're looking and you're steady dating one person and you're not feeling it, but you're staying with that person, I admire your motivation to make it work. But let's be honest, you got to get out there and see what makes you work, makes you feel better. And then my best advice in this is that if it's not working, sometimes it's important to just stop dating for a little while and just spend time with yourself. You're going to find more answers alone and learning yourself than you would with any type of date you ever will go on, because most of the time it's yourself that has a problem with things going on. Yes, there's people and there's not positive people out there, but you'll find that most of the time what could have been better, what should have been better, a lot of times it may fall on your own shoulders of why things didn't work. So I will tell you, there's not really a pro and con too much to steady dating. I would say it's good to be a steady dating person, but it's only a con if you realize it's not going anywhere and you're just kind of forcing it because you don't want to start over. That's when it becomes an issue, and you want to try to remedy that as soon as possible to avoid hurting yourself as well as someone else. Double dating, I kind of talked about this already. You can go from your group to your double date. That's always kind of good. But I will say, after you've done the formal dating, okay, it's also important to understand how your mate reacts in a setting that's more than just yourself. Because of course, at that point in time, at a certain point in time, they're going to be meeting family. They're going to be meeting very close people to you. So it's very important to really feel how they are with more than just you sometimes. So don't get me wrong, formal dating is important, but it's also important to make sure that they can handle, because you might think I'm joking here, but there are people out there that cannot handle anything more than the person they're dating. And it becomes a problem, because then one of the people in that relationship ends up going places by themselves, because and then you find it with, most of the time it's men that have this issue that they just can't come out of the shell of going out there and dealing with multiple people. So the woman usually goes by herself places, and so you have to expose both of these at some point in time. So you already heard my cons of double dating already, so I'll keep going. Random dating. Yeah, we all have our opinions of this. I'll tell you it basically what I feel about it. I don't think it's a good thing sometimes, but I also think that it depends on where you are in your life as well. So I can't really give you a direct answer. It depends on where you are, what you've been through, what's going on, to why this is a pro or a con, what those pros and cons are. But I will say, if you're just tired of all the mess and you just want to be entertained and enjoy people, enjoy random dating. But if you're looking for love, which is what this video course is mostly about, then random dating is going to complicate things, make things harder for you. You're going to be getting unnecessary texts late at night, different things that you probably don't need. So I would avoid this in all costs if you can. But like I said, it depends on where you are in your life. So let's go on. We got about 6 more slides left, folks. So we got healthy versus unhealthy. A healthy relationship should bring more happiness and stress in your life. And you know the scale of yourself, basically. You know which way, if the scale is too high up on the unhealthy and it's too low on the healthy, you know yourself. We want to make sure to do more of the healthier side, of course. And like I said, no one knows that scale better than yourself. Every relationship will have stress at times, but you want to prevent prolonged mental stress, because it's going to cause health problems. And those health problems are going to turn into problems for you, problems for who you're dating, problems for your family, problems for your friends and your kids. And we want to remedy it as quick as we possibly can. So let's make sure that the scale is higher on the healthy side. Signs of a healthy relationship: you take care of yourself, have a good self-esteem, and you're independent of your relationship. You respect each other's individuality, because let's be honest, when we're in a relationship, we're not just going to be a bundle of bananas, okay? We have to also be individuals as well, because that's how we started. You're not going to lose yourself to gain someone else. So you need to be aware that the person still needs to have some individuality, because that's going to make them a better person in a relationship. Believe it or not, they're going to be better people if they can understand and still have access to their individuality. Don't put curfews on people. That's not going to help them want to be around you. And if they do end up being around you still, they're not going to be a good version of themselves with you. So let's be sure and be mindful of that. Maintain relationships with friends and family. That's going to be important to keeping your relationship with your person strong, because if they can keep their relationship positive with friends and family, it's going to give them a good motivational stimulant to be good with you and to be very healthy and have things go well with yourself. So that's all going to be a good compound of that. You're going to need to have activities apart from one another. Let's just be honest. You can't just do things as a group. I kind of touched on this a little bit. If you can do things apart and come back together, you're going to want to be around each other even more when you have activities apart, because we all need time to still access what we had before we met our person. Are able to express yourself to one another without fear of consequences. Of course, you don't want to be opening up to someone that's going to tear you back down again. That's not going to be healthy at all. So in order to have a healthy relationship, you have to be able to do that with confidence. This goes without saying. Feel secure and comfortable. Do not worry about violence in a relationship. That's very obvious. We need that. We should not be worried about that. Trust each other and to be honest with one another is going to be the backbone of all relationships. Man or woman, woman or woman, man or man. We need to establish trust. Unhealthy relationships. These are some of the things to be very mindful of. At times, our relationships will have some unhealthy characteristics. We know that when you incorporate jobs, kids, different circumstances, health, different things. It's going to cause some turmoil, but we have to come back together. And what's going to help you come back together is establishing a strong communicational bond. However, unhealthy relationships will exhibit these characteristics more frequently and cause you distress and pressure that is hard to avoid. But if you have a good communicational background with one another and you can be honest and trustworthy, going back to our future things, the past things we talked about, we can be good in the present. So all the things and the compounds we discuss are going to help us move through this unhealthy, uncomfortable situation. And we got one more slide, folks. So we need to be sure. We need to also, it's just like put one person before the other by neglecting yourself or your partner. Those are signs that that's not looking good for you, and we need to remedy that if you feel you're doing that. Sometimes you don't realize you're doing it, so this is good to kind of take a step back and really reflect. Pressure to change who you are for the other person, worried when you disagree with the other. Like, these are signs that if you're doing these things, we need to sit down. You have to take your partner and sit down and talk about them as soon as you can. Feel pressure to quit activities you usually used to do when you were single or when you were by yourself. You used to enjoy doing them. Do not. It's your partner's job as well to inspire you to keep going on things that you enjoy doing, and to not feel pressure to change anything about yourself, because that's who you are. And so we need, as partners of someone else, we need to be mindful that we're not just educating the other person, but we're helping them figure out what they already know. Okay, let's see. Okay. So we're at the last slide now. We're going to give you a question to leave with. Where and when should you seek help for your relationship, regardless if that's with your spouse, it's with your friend, with your brother, your cousin, your aunt, uncle, whatever it may be. You have to make sure if it's getting to a point where you just can no longer continue, you have to seek some professional help if it's just getting too much for you, okay? The video course is strictly for educational purposes, and if violence is being a part of this, you need to also reach out as well. If you're a victim or you're the person bringing that type of behavior, you have to seek some help, okay? And then, most importantly, I said, if you're not into that extremity level and you're just feeling like you need a little guidance, discuss in a group. We are in a time where online is booming, technology is booming. We have ways to access each other remotely, virtually, comfortably, and we need to take those things into consideration, and we need to be very instrumental at making things go well. Let's just not give up on another person, okay? We can do this. You can rebound. We can all rebound. We can do better for ourselves. So I am Jaye Wellness. I am signing off. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Be sure that if you're feeling anything like what I talked about, just take a time and get to know yourself a little bit better. Give yourself some time. Put yourself on a timeout. It's very needed sometimes. Okay, everybody. I will talk to you soon, and take care.